Good morning and hello, I'm Professor Code. This is the Forex Supermodel Racing Review and Forex Briefing for, Wednesday, the 21st of December 2022. We've got a race today. It's our N-1 filter coming through, which is a relatively new filter. We've got this Wolverhampton this evening, 19:30, so 7:30. It's a handicap class 4, 3-year-old plus 0 to 86 furlong 20-yard standard. And we're looking at this number 3 intervention. We picked this horse up from the filter on the 10th of the 12th, so the 10th of December, so fairly recently this month. Wolverhampton again, 6 furlongs handicap, where it was third to Pocket the Profit. So if you want to look at the rerun of that race, excuse me, you'll see that it's the sort of trip that horse had, but it's more than just looking for advantageous trips next time or whatever. It's the actual nature of this race here was a very strong race from our modelling, and this race it's going into is relatively weaker. It's not been raised in handicap mark, so it should have an edge, and it's drawn one. They've changed the jockey, which is interesting. So anyway, we got a little bit of money on it yesterday late. So we've got £1 per £8 unit, which is £100 for us at 3 to 1 for a win. We've had a little go today this morning. We've had another £1 per £8 unit, it's another 100 at 3.1 to 1. The over-round at the moment is very silly at the moment. It's 108, 109% on Betfair. So you're going to see this over-round decline, which means there's going to have to be a lengthening odds of the general racing participants, and hopefully this intervention will drift out a little bit, and we'll add to it. So we'll add depending on how much it drifts. If it goes out to sort of 72. 4 to 1, 9 to 2, we'll put on another couple of £100, and if it goes out to sort of 5 to 1 plus, we'll pump it up a bit more, up to a maximum of about 3/4 of a unit, so up to £600 back win. So that's where we are. So we'll see how that goes. McQueen was our last N-1 filter horse, which ran third a couple of times, and we gave it 2 goes, and now we've given up in disgust on that one. So anyway, that's where we are there. Forex, right, just grab this. Yesterday we were talking about the CAD, Canadian dollar, and this retail. Well, yesterday it was retail sales data, which came in positive, but due to the nature, we were looking at the Canadian dollar versus the yen, JPY. Now, the yen had a big kick up the pants from the yield curve extension on the 10-year from the Bank of Japan, and if you look at the charts, you can see that the CAD yen has got this big spike down where the yen seriously strengthened up, and then there's a very little recovery on that. We didn't get a bounce despite this better data yesterday for the retail sales, but we didn't get a bounce out of it, and we pulled the plug on the order, and eventually it sort of dirged down. It's dirging around at the moment, depending how it's going to play. The CAD data is starting to come in a little bit more positive, but the central bank positioning on the CAD Canadian dollar is pretty much cooked. They're starting to it looks like the Canadian dollar's peaked in terms of rate rises and expectations, but obviously nothing's set in concrete. But it looks like the market thinks that the rate cycle is peaked, so the CAD's going to remain relatively soft. And like we say, we've just had this kick up the pants on the yen. So the likelihood is, even if you get reasonable CPI, you might get a very small bounce, but you're going to get a fall in this CAD yen again, a strengthening in the yen and a weakening in the CAD. So we're looking at putting a sell order this time prior to the 13:30 CPI release. I mean, obviously it's all dependent on how they shape up this morning, but that's assuming that it pans out roughly as we expect. Then we're looking to put a sell order in and if it bounces up against us and then there's a peak there, we might take the order out and put. So you're looking at this sort of scenario. So if you get this sort of data out, it bounces up there. So on our orders here, we'll chop that out, and then we'll put another order in here once the market's settled down, if we think it's a peak, and then we may be able to ride it back down. So they're the two scenarios really we're looking at around 1:30 today. So anyway, we'll see how this intervention runs. We could do with it running well. As I say, the accounts, basically come down from about 72 units to about 50 units in profit. So it's been a pain in the neck basically, but anyway, that's where we are. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and goodbye.